Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're diving straight into the ultimate wedding countdown. But we're not talking about the dress or the cake. We're breaking down the exact timeline to achieve a completely perfect, stress-free wedding smile. And a quick spoiler alert for you, a 6-month runway is absolutely the secret here. It's the only way to make sure your smile is beautifully ready long before you ever step into that dress.
Think about your typical wedding checklist for a second. You've got the venue lockdown, the guest list, seating charts, the catering, all that stuff. But I've got a question for you. What is the one wedding detail that shows up in literally every single photo, but is almost always planned dead last? Yep, it's your smile. While venues and dresses are booked like a year in advance, smiles, they're usually shoved right to the bottom of the to-do list, right up until the week of the engagement shoot when the panic suddenly hits.
Okay, let's dive into this. Just look at this crazy contrast. You've got the dress, which is traditionally planned a full year out, and then you have the smile, usually crammed into the final 3 weeks. It's kind of wild, right? We spend so much time prioritizing things that can literally be adjusted the morning of the wedding, like hair or makeup, but our teeth? They are front and center in every permanent photo you're going to be looking at for decades. Moving on to Section 1, why 6 months matters most. Simply put, you can't rush biology. See, a smile makeover isn't just some quick beauty treatment you can book at a salon. It operates on a fixed biological countdown. Let's break down what that actually means. This biological timeline is the fixed amount of time required for your enamel to actually respond to whitening gel, for your gums to fully heal after contouring, or for a dental lab to physically craft custom porcelain. So, starting 6 months out, it isn't just a polite suggestion from your dentist. It is a strict, hard and fast physical rule. You really just can't bypass the time your body and the technicians need to do the job properly without sacrificing the final result.
And, why does this matter so much? Well, it's not just about looking flawless on camera. According to peer-reviewed research published in PubMed Central, there's a highly significant correlation between smile aesthetics and your self-esteem during social interactions. Basically, your smile directly impacts your confidence, your comfort, and your overall joy on the big day. You want to feel like the absolute best version of yourself as you're greeting your guests, right? Not someone who's kind of, hiding their teeth from the photographer all night.
So, on to Section 2, the bridal smile countdown. Let's start mapping out your appointments.
Now that we understand why that 6-month mark is so absolutely crucial, let's map out your exact appointments so you can visualize these milestones and, most importantly, skip the pre-wedding panic. So here is your master timeline. Right at the 6-month mark, we tackle the structural elements, your full consultation starting porcelain veneers or maybe beginning clear aligners. By 3 months out, you're on to finishing work. Think veneer fittings and aligner wrap-ups. Then, jumping to 6 to 8 weeks before the big day, that is your prime professional whitening window. And finally, 2 weeks out, you come in for a deep cleaning and minor touch-ups. Pacing it out exactly like this, it's going to save you so much unnecessary anxiety and ensure you walk into your wedding week perfectly, beautifully relaxed.
Let's move to and see how this builds, especially for those major, high-impact treatments. Take porcelain veneers, for example. Step 1 is the prep and wearing temporary veneers. Step 2 is the actual lab turnaround time where your custom porcelain is carefully manufactured. Step 3 is the final fitting, which basically gives you a buffer in case you need to check how your bite feels or make a super subtle shade adjustment. This step-by-step biological and manufacturing process is exactly why structural treatments like veneers take months, definitely not days. All right, Section 3, treatments and your wedding budget. Let's talk about what to expect in Muscat. Look, we all know wedding budgets get stretched unbelievably thin across a million different vendors. So getting a handle on these specific costs early on is a huge advantage. But here's the really interesting part. The highest impact treatments are actually the most budget-friendly. A deep clean and polish typically runs between 25 and 60 Omani reals, and professional whitening ranges from 60 to 150 Omar. And honestly, those alone can completely transform a dull smile. Now, if you're looking at structural changes, porcelain veneers range from 150 to 350 Omar per tooth, gum contouring is about 120 to 300, and minor Invisalign cases will run between 800 and 1600 Omar. Now, if those larger structural numbers are looking a bit intimidating right now, just take a deep breath. Starting at that crucial 6-month mark actually helps you out financially too. Because you're planning ahead, a lot of Muscat clinics offer installment plans. That lets you spread the cost of treatments like veneers or Invisalign smoothly across the months leading up to the wedding. So you aren't getting hit with one massive lump sum right when you're also trying to pay the florist and the caterer. Moving into Section 4, the cost of rushing, bargain deals and fake-looking teeth.
So, what happens if you just kind of ignore the timeline and leave all this to the last minute? I know it's incredibly tempting to jump at those bargain wedding package deals or hit up a same-day whitening kiosk when the date is fast approaching. But let's contrast the lived experience here. On one side, we have the 6-month runway bride. She's super relaxed. Any minor tweaks or adjustments to her teeth have settled completely naturally. She just looks like the absolute best version of herself. But on the other side, the 3 weeks out bride. She is stressed, her gums might be actively inflamed from last-minute deep cleaning or contouring, and a rushed whitening session without a proper shade check that can result in a stark, artificially bright smile that severely clashes with natural skin tones under harsh flash photography. Definitely not what you want. To make this super real for a second, let me share a composite story based on typical bridal journeys reported by clinics right here in Muscat. So, a bride booked her very first consultation just 5 weeks before her wedding. Her goal? She was desperately hoping to rush 2 porcelain veneers to fix a chipped front tooth. Her dentist had to sit her down and honestly explain that the lab and fitting process alone needed at least a month. That left literally zero safe margin before the ceremony. She came incredibly close to making a disastrous timeline mistake by starting so late. And this brilliantly illustrates what a truly reputable clinic will do in that situation. Instead of recklessly rushing those veneers and risking a terrible result on her actual wedding day, they safely pivoted the plan. They moved to simple bonding-based repair up first to fix the chip quickly, they scheduled professional whitening for 3 weeks out, and they left a full week of buffer before the wedding. The result? The bride got a beautiful, bright smile in time for every photo, and then just came back after the honeymoon to complete the permanent veneers the right way. That is a massive win for safe planning over rushed aesthetics. Which brings us to a very, very important number today. 0. 0 is the exact number of new treatments, last-minute whitening kits, or even new brands of toothpaste you should be trying during the actual week of your wedding. Your wedding week is absolutely not the time to experiment with anything new, guys. If something feels off, absolutely call your dentist for reassurance, but introduce 0 new variables to your teeth. Seriously, don't even try a fancy new artisanal mint flavor that week. It's just not worth it. All right, Section 5, your camera-ready checklist. Final takeaways for the bride-to-be. We're wrapping up the explainer now, so here is your actionable master checklist to put into motion right away. Number 1, book your consultation exactly at that 6-month mark. Remember, that single decision determines what options you actually have. Number 2, finish any professional whitening a full 2 weeks before the wedding. Number 3, schedule your professional deep clean 2 weeks out, and definitely not the day before. Number 4, and this is a big one, avoid staining foods and drinks like turmeric, berries, and coffee the entire week of the wedding. This is absolutely vital to protect that fresh whitening. And finally, number 5, if wedding planning has you super stressed out, just get an inexpensive soft night guard so jaw soreness doesn't completely ruin your relaxed expression. I want to leave you with this final thought today. Your smile is going to outlast the cake, the venue, and the flowers. You're going to be looking at it in albums and frames for the rest of your life. So are you giving it the 6 months it biologically deserves? Don't leave this to the last minute. Take control of your biological timeline, prioritize your smile early, and go book that consultation. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy wedding planning.